Let's get right into it. Number 8. Nobody is coming to save you. You're scrolling through social media right now. You see all these success stories about people getting discovered. Some teenager who got famous on TikTok overnight. That guy who bought Bitcoin in 2010 and is now living on his private island. That friend from high school who somehow landed their dream job through a random connection. And you're wondering when it's your turn. When is that magical moment when someone spots your potential and gives you your big break? Nobody is coming to save you. There's no talent scout browsing through LinkedIn looking for you specifically. No rich uncle you've never met is writing you into their will. And that perfect mentor who will take you under their wing is probably too busy working on their own problems. You're not Snow White waiting in a glass case for Prince Charming. You're more like Batman. If you want something done, you have to do it yourself. Once you actually accept this truth, something weird happens. You stop waiting and start doing. I know this guy who spent 5 years waiting for the right opportunity to start his business. He had all these excuses. I need more experience. I need more connections. I need more money. Then his company laid him off during COVID. Suddenly there was no more waiting. No more perfect moment. He either had to sink or swim. He built a 6-figure business in 18 months. Not because he got lucky, but because he finally realized nobody was coming to build it for him. Once you accept this truth, it's actually liberating. You stop wasting energy hoping for rescue and start using it to rescue yourself. Think about all those hours you've spent daydreaming about someone discovering your talent. Now imagine if you'd spent those hours actually developing that talent instead. Success isn't about waiting for your ship to come in. It's about swimming out to the ship yourself. You're not just the main character in your story. You're also the writer, the director, and the entire production crew. Number 7. Your brain isn't your friend. Your brain isn't on your side. It's not trying to make you happy. It's trying to keep you alive. Your brain is like that overprotective parent who never lets you do anything fun because it's too dangerous. Your ancestors didn't survive by being optimistic and taking risks. They survived by being paranoid and assuming every rustle in the grass was a lion. Those who weren't anxious enough became lion lunch and didn't pass on their genes. That's why your brain is constantly scanning for threats. Even when you're just scrolling through social media, you see someone's vacation photos. Your brain goes, "They're doing better than us." Someone didn't text back for an hour. Your brain screams, "They hate us." It's like having an overly dramatic friend who thinks everything is a disaster. You can't stop thinking about that embarrassing thing you did 10 years ago. That's your brain saying, "Hey, let's replay this memory so we never make this mistake again." It doesn't care that you're losing sleep over it. All it cares about is making sure you stay safe by never taking social risks. It makes you think avoiding things will make you feel better. You're scared of public speaking. Your brain says, "Let's skip that presentation." You're feeling anxious about a date. Your brain whispers, "Just cancel, you'll feel better." And sure, you get that short-term relief. But long-term, you're just teaching your brain that avoidance is the answer. It's like feeding a stray cat. Keep doing it, and it'll never leave. You need to start treating your brain like an overprotective parent. Listen to its concerns, but don't let it make all your decisions. Your brain says, "Don't ask that person out. They might reject us." You say, "Thanks for trying to protect me, but I'm doing it anyway." Your brain will never stop being anxious. It's like trying to convince a smoke detector not to beep. That's not its job. Its job is to detect smoke, whether there's a fire or not. Your job isn't to stop the beeping, it's to learn to act despite it. Number 6. The sunk cost graveyard. You're halfway through a terrible Netflix show. You've already watched 5 seasons, and even though it's getting worse, you think, "Well, I've come this far." That's the sunk cost fallacy, and it's ruining more than just your evening. When you realize you're digging yourself deeper into a hole, the smart move is to climb out. But our brains think, "I've already dug so deep, might as well keep going." And that's how people end up spending years in jobs they hate, or staying in relationships that died years ago, or finishing degrees they knew weren't right for them. Sunk costs are like expired food in your fridge. Just because you paid for it doesn't mean you should eat it. The money and time are already gone. Throwing more resources at a mistake doesn't fix it. It just makes the mistake bigger. You see this in gambling all the time. "I've already lost $5,000. I just need one big win to get it back." They never get it back. The hardest part is admitting you were wrong. Your brain will come up with excuses. "But I've already invested so much time. What will people think if I quit now? Maybe it'll get better if I just stick it out a little longer." These are all lies your brain tells you to avoid admitting a mistake. The cemetery is full of people who stuck with their mistakes until the end. They stayed in toxic relationships for the kids. They worked soul-crushing jobs for the pension. They lived lives they hated because it's too late to change now. It's never too late to stop digging. The best time to quit something that's wrong for you was yesterday. The second best time is now. That terrible Netflix show isn't going to get better in season 6. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is cut your losses and walk away, because the only thing worse than wasting 5 years on a mistake is wasting 6. Number 5. The Ghost of Inaction. The funny thing about regret is it's not the embarrassing things you did that keep you up at night. It's the things you didn't do. That person you never asked out in high school because you were scared of rejection. That business idea you had back in 2015 that someone else turned into $1 million company. That dream job you didn't apply for because you thought you weren't qualified enough. Here's the thing about taking action and failing. The pain fades. That time you tripped in front of everyone, you probably don't even remember it now. But I bet you remember that talent show you chickened out of. The one where your friend performed and everyone loved it. Psychologists have found that in the long run, people regret the things they didn't do far more than the things they did. What haunts them are the what-ifs, the paths not taken, the dreams left in the drawer. When you do something and fail, you get closure. The story has an ending. But when you don't act, that story never ends. Your brain keeps rewriting it, showing you all the amazing ways it could have turned out. It becomes a ghost that follows you around, taunting you with what if at 3 a.m. And the really messed up part? The more time passes, the more perfect these unlived possibilities become in your mind. That business idea? In your head, it would have definitely worked. That person you never asked out? They would have definitely said yes. Your brain turns these ghosts into perfect versions of what could have been, and that's way more painful than any real failure could ever be, because real failure has an end point. These ghosts of inaction are infinite. They grow bigger and more perfect with every passing year. So here's the brutal truth. That embarrassing attempt you're afraid to make, in a year, you won't even remember the sting. But that thing you're too scared to try, that ghost will be sitting on your shoulder 10 years from now, whispering what if into your ear. Number 4. Money buys freedom, not happiness. People say money can't buy happiness. That's usually coming from someone sitting in their beach house sipping expensive coffee. Money isn't about buying a fancy car or a golden toilet. It's about having the power to say no. Imagine your boss as being a complete jerk. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have to sit there and take it. You're basically held hostage by your bills. But if you have savings, you have options. You have the power to walk away. That's what money really buys. Freedom. Want to move to a different city? You can do that. Want to take a month off to learn to paint? Go for it. It's like having a video game with all the levels unlocked. You still have to play the game, but at least you get to choose which level you want to play. People think more money equals more happiness. That's like thinking more forks will make your food taste better. I know people who make 6 figures and cry in their Tesla, and I know people who make far less and laugh their way through life. Happiness is a whole different game. It's about your relationships, finding meaning in what you do, and your mindset. But it's a lot easier to work on your happiness when you're not staying up at night wondering how to pay your electricity bill. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy peace of mind. And peace of mind is like happiness's personal assistant. It buys you the freedom and the breathing room to figure out what actually makes you happy. And maybe, just maybe, what makes you happy is riding a jet ski. In which case, you're gonna need some money for that. Number 3. Failure is just data. You're staring at your phone, thumb hovering over the send button. Maybe it's a job application, or a message to someone you like, and then that voice in your head starts up. What if they laugh at me? What if I fail? Failure isn't what you think it is. Imagine you're trying to make the perfect grilled cheese sandwich. First attempt, the bread is burnt black and the cheese isn't melted. Second try, the cheese melts, but it's stuck to the pan. Third time, the bread's perfect, but you used too much cheese. Most people would say you failed 3 times, but what really happened is you just collected 3 pieces of valuable data. The heat was too high. You need to butter the pan. Less cheese is more. Failure isn't failure, it's data collection. Thomas Edison didn't fail 1,000 times when inventing the light bulb. He successfully discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. Each failure was just another piece of data telling him what to do next. The most successful people in history aren't the ones who failed the least. They're the ones who failed the most, but kept collecting that data. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter got accepted. That's 12 pieces of data, not 12 failures. Each rejection gave her information, even if it was just that she'd pitched to the wrong person. The crazy part is most people quit after 3 or 4 rejections. They're giving up right before they've collected enough data to succeed. It's like rage quitting a video game right before you figure out the boss's attack pattern. Nobody remembers J.K. Rowling's rejections. They just remember Harry Potter. So next time you're afraid to try something because you might fail, remember this. You're not failing. You're just collecting data. And the only real failure is not collecting enough data to succeed. Number 2. Action beats anxiety. You're lying in bed at 3 a.m., thinking about all the emails you need to send. Your brain starts spinning this wild story about how everyone at work secretly hates you. Then you imagine getting fired, ending up homeless, and living in a cardboard box, all because of some unread emails. Anxiety is like one of those inflatable tube men outside a car dealership. It looks huge and scary when it's full of air, but the moment you poke it with action, it just flops around harmlessly. There was this guy who spent 6 months dreading asking for a raise. He was convinced his boss would not only say no, but also fire him and release tigers into his office. When he finally asked, his boss just said, "Sure," and went back to his sandwich. 6 months of mental torture over a 30-second conversation. Anxiety hates action. It's like those scary shadows in your room at night that turn out to be just a pile of laundry when you turn on the light. The moment you start doing the thing you're worried about, anxiety loses its power. Scientists have found that taking action releases calming chemicals in your brain. Meanwhile, sitting still and thinking about your problems releases stress hormones. Your brain literally rewards you for doing stuff and punishes you for overthinking. A woman spent 2 years avoiding the gym because she thought everyone would judge her. She imagined people pointing, laughing, and writing mean articles about her. When she finally went, nobody even looked at her. Everyone was too busy worrying about their own workout to care about hers. 2 years of anxiety over absolutely nothing. The fastest way to kill anxiety is to do the thing it's screaming at you not to do. Send the email. Make the call. Go to the gym. Once you take that first step, you'll realize the monster in your head was just a shadow. Number 1. Your parents were just winging it. You know that moment when you're trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions, and you're just hoping it won't collapse? That's basically what parenting is like. We all grow up thinking our parents had some secret manual, some grand plan they were following, but they were just like you trying to make a sandwich at 3 a.m. while half asleep. They were figuring it out as they went along, panicking inside while trying to look confident on the outside. One day they're just regular people, and the next they're handed a tiny human and told, "Don't mess this up." It's like being thrown into the pilot's seat of a plane that's already in the air. That weird rule about not eating dessert before dinner was probably made up on the spot because they were too tired to argue. When your dad told you he had eyes in the back of his head, he was just really good at guessing when you were about to do something stupid. They were probably younger than you are now when they started raising you. Imagine your current self having to raise a kid. They didn't have Google or YouTube tutorials. They couldn't just type, "Why is my baby making that weird noise at 2 a.m.? They had to rely on whatever their parents told them, a few outdated books, and pure instinct. They were doing their best with what they knew at the time. It's like being mad at someone from 1990 for not knowing how to use an iPhone. They made questionable choices. They dressed you in awful matching outfits. They fed you that weird casserole, but they were just trying to keep you alive while dealing with their own stuff, bills to pay, jobs to keep, and their own emotional baggage. Understanding this isn't about letting them off the hook for everything. It's about realizing they were just imperfect people, doing one of the hardest jobs in the world with no training. Because one day, you might be the one inventing rules as you go, pretending you know exactly what you're doing, and your kids will think you've got it all figured out until they're watching a video like this one. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.